sometimes referred to as Susie Wiles, Susie Trump. She's the great chief of staff at the. They don't use the word chief of staff anymore because of the Indians got extremely upset. But now the Indians actually want their name used, which is true. They never didn't want it used. But the chief of staff, and she's fantastic, she said, we have to start campaigning, sir.
Yeah, I'm not certain that message is going to help Republicans. Based on the content of his Pocono speech, Republicans are still worried. To say nothing of the Truth Social post the president posted after, in which he said, quote, "The New York Times and some others like to pretend that I am slowing up and maybe not as sharp as I once was or am in poor physical health. After all of the work I have done with medical exams, cognitive exams, and everything else, I actually believe it's seditious, perhaps even treasonous, for the New York Times and others to consistently do fake reports in order to libel and demean the President of the United States. They are true enemies of the people, and we should do something about it." I don't know exactly what he thinks should be done about it, and that's just part of the Truth Social post. We should note, reporting accurately on the president's quite obvious aging is neither seditious nor treasonous. This was a post on Truth Social about which former Republican Congressman Justin Amash said, quote, "If anyone else wrote something like this, it would be universally acknowledged that the person is mentally unstable." Not that the 95-minute speech that preceded the Truth Social post was any more reassuring to congressional Republicans who need a message on affordability, given continued rising prices, some of which are, frankly, caused by the president's deeply unpopular tariffs.
You know, tariffs are bringing us hundreds of billions of dollars.
Those hundreds of billions of dollars are being paid by American companies and you, American consumers. They're not being paid by foreign governments. They're not being paid by foreign consumers. 63% of registered voters disapprove of the president's tariffs, according to a November Fox News poll. But here's how Trump brushes that objection off.
The smart people understand it. Other people are starting to learn, but the smart people really understand it.
So if you're one of the 63% of the American people who oppose the tariffs, apparently you are just not smart enough to understand it. It took more than 13 minutes last night before the president actually started talking about affordability. Here's some of what he had to say.
You're getting lower prices, bigger paychecks. We're getting inflation. We're crushing it. And you're getting much higher wages. I said it the other day, and a lot of people misinterpret it. They say, oh, he doesn't realize prices are high. Prices are coming down very substantially. But they have a new word. You know, they always have a hoax. The new word is affordability. So they look at the camera and they say, this election is all about affordability. Now, they never talk about it. They never talk. Thank you very much. They say I'm not allowed to run. I don't know what the hell that's all about, but that's okay. He said 4 more years. You see the new hat? We have 4 more years. 2028. We have all sorts of...
Again, not a very cogent message on affordability. And just saying that prices are going down and things are getting more affordable, that doesn't actually make them more affordable. President Trump tried to blame President Biden for the current economic conditions. Blaming Biden, we should note, it's not working. Registered voters in that same Fox poll gave Trump the responsibility for the economy over Biden. 62% Trump, 32% Biden. Here's how Trump framed it.
We inherited the worst inflation in the history of our country. Think of that. And we're bringing them down rapidly. Their entire agenda is about robbing working people to fund their far-left cronies and give lavish benefits to foreign migrants and illegal aliens. You can't do it. Look, we all have a heart.
Now, inflation under President Biden was a big problem. It peaked in June 2022 at 9.1%. But what President Trump inherited from Biden is not 9.1% inflation. What he inherited is the same inflation rate today as it was in January. You'll also notice there how the president weaved to immigration. It's an issue where he's had more success in terms of popularity and results. The same Fox News poll has Trump at 46% approval on immigration versus 38% on the economy. So President Trump continued on that subject.
I've also announced a permanent pause on third world migration, including from hellholes like Afghanistan, Haiti, Somalia, and many other countries. I didn't say shithole, you did. Remember I said that to the senators they came in? The Democrats. They wanted to be bipartisan. Why is it we only take people from shithole countries, right? Why can't we have some people from Norway, Sweden, just a few? Let us have a few. From Denmark.
Incidentally, for those paying attention, that was President Trump admitting that he said in private in that 2018 meeting with senators that he indeed called African countries shithole countries. President Trump denied saying that back in 2018. He tweeted, "The language used by me at the DACA meeting was tough, but this was not the language used." Again, none of this is a reassuring message about affordability, nor was this.
Transgender for every member in your family. If they're not feeling well that night, let's just change their sex.
Okay. Now, there were times last night when you could discern in the speech, in the text, that he did seem to actually be reading on occasion the messages that his team wants him to convey. For example, that there remains much more work to be done.
So we're doing it again, but bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. There's more work to do.
And while overall inflation is up, he did highlight some of the prices that are coming down.
So rent prices are down, dairy prices are coming down very strongly. The cost of Thanksgiving turkeys was down by 33% compared to the Biden era. That's a good start. We're bringing it down, and we're coming down more. We're coming down a lot more. Takes a little time to come down.
He even used charts.
But look at AIDS, 106%, and we got them down 15%. Look at those numbers. But you don't hear that from the fake news. You don't hear that.
But just when you would think he was staying on an affordability message of some semblance of cogency, he suggested that the American people need to sacrifice for this economy. And here's how he put it.
You can give up certain products. You can give up pencils. Because under the China policy, you know, every child can get 37 pencils. They only need one or two, you know. They don't need that many. But you always need steel. You don't need 37 dolls for your daughter. 2 or 3 is nice, but you don't need 37 dolls.
No dolls for you. President Trump seems to have a difficult time understanding that people out there are hurting.
Already, they are saying better than Lincoln, better than Washington, better than anybody. The best 10 months ever in the history of the presidency.
At other times in his speech, President Trump seemed more focused on attacking anyone who has suggested that he needs to convey to the public that he understands their struggles.
I went to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and UAE. I brought back $4 trillion. They said, he should be traveling. He should focus on home. What the hell do you think I'm doing? And 250 Boeing jets. I brought back so much everything. Then they say, he should, you know, the stupid people, they say, he should be leaving our country. Yeah, let's sit around and twiddle our thumbs. It's, no, it's sort of crazy, right?
At times, the president seemed to be even revealing his internal monologue, not quite Thomas Jefferson's dialogue between his head and heart, but certainly an internal debate.
We're dealing with bad people. And the word affordability is the exact same thing. And I can't say affordability hoax because I agree the prices were too high, so I can't go to hoax because they'll misconstrue that. But they use the word affordability, and that's their only word. They say affordability, and everyone says, oh, that must mean Trump has high prices.